Chào mừng quý vị quay trở lại với phần tiếp theo của chương trình Tôi và Việt Nam trên kênh FPNC. Và trong phần này, mời quý vị cùng đến với những chia sẻ liên quan đến chủ đề an ninh mạng trong thời kỷ nguyên Internet thông qua phần trả lời phỏng vấn của ông Avi Shavit, hiện là trưởng bộ phận nghiên cứu an ninh nội địa và an ninh mạng, văn phòng các nhà khoa học đến từ Bộ Kinh tế Israel, một đất nước có nhiều thành tựu về khoa học công nghệ. Và trong chương trình ngày hôm nay, chúng ta sẽ cùng tham khảo một số vấn đề liên quan đến vấn đề an ninh mạng trong kỷ nguyên Internet. Thank you, Mr. Shavit. Thank you for your time.
Nice to meet you.
How are you?
Fine, thank you very much.
So, why did you decide to come to Vietnam this time to speak about cybersecurity?
We in Israel believe that the cybersecurity is a global one. It's not stopped by the border of Israel. And in order to give a solution for the cybersecurity, we need to think globally, the whole world. The internet is not only stopped when you leave Israel. So we decided to go to Vietnam as an emerging country that can build their solution for cybersecurity together with Israel. We think that the future will be much more safer if we got a lot of cooperation and sharing information between the country. So the advantage will be if we can build an ecosystem together with the Vietnams to prepare for the next generation of cybersecurity, meaning that we can take solution from Israel together with Vietnam solution and build a new, on top of it, new solution, establish new platform to cooperate between Vietnam company and Israeli companies. And for that, the reason that I came, also because there is a conference in Israel in November 2014 that we think it's a very unique opportunity for the Vietnam company and the Vietnam system integrator and consumer to come to Israel and to learn more about the Israeli solution so that you can together build a better world for everybody.
Sure. So in terms of cybersecurity, what's kind of the risk that the companies have to deal with nowadays in terms of we are living in the world of internet and, you know, the connected everything?
Yeah, it's amazing that you mentioned the Internet of Things, because that is the future. Internet of Things together with the big data, big data in the cloud, and everybody can see everything, everybody can share everything, and how you secure your data, how you secure that nobody harm your data and nobody hack your transaction. I think the solution starts with, first of all, everybody needs to make for his own risk assessment. Even if we talk about a company level or a personal level, you need to make a risk assessment. Where is the risk? Where does the threat come from? What you need to in order to compete these threats. And after that, when you build your own risk and you make prioritization of them, then you can build a solution. You can see, oh, that is my point of failure. That is the point of failure. Now I can build a roadmap and solution, a overall architecture of what I need to do, even in organization level, even in the country level, and then start to fill the gap. Fill answer to one level, the second level, the third level, until you got a whole solution. We think that is the best way. Start with threat assessment and then continue to the solution. And in Israel, we can offer a lot of solutions. If you talk about Internet of Things or bring your own device to the company, we have a lot of new technology that develop in Israel for that. For example, we have a continuously authentication on the mobile phone. When you make an online transaction, you will be known for sure that nobody hacked your mobile phone during the transaction. You'll be aware that nobody, what we call man in the browser, took your browser and instead of you make the transaction for his benefit. That's something that new technologies that developed in Israel.
Could you be more specific in what fields that the companies have to expose to a lot of risk? In what fields? In terms of like banking or insurance or some companies or some fields related to a lot of data?
I think from my experience, it's depend. Because in the healthcare system, you have also problem. Healthcare, when you go to the doctor and he send you to the laboratory, you make some blood test, everybody can see it, what your privacy data, etc. I go to the hospital, every surgeon and every doctor can see the data. Also, when we talk about critical infrastructure like gas, like oil station, like water system, they need to be protected. The different protocol, different system, but to maintain the system, they go to the internet. Go to the internet, new risk. So I think the online banking is also very crucial, but I think the banking today in the world, they know very well how to compete the threat. As you can see, a lot of people doing today transaction through the internet. And also there's a threat over there, people doing it. And people, most of the citizens, do not afraid to go to the internet and make online transaction. For example, I'm doing it. Even there's a threat in the internet. But we need to take proportion. It's not full security, but the risk is something that you can manage. If you track after that what happened with your transaction, you see the online paper from the bank, and you can manage it. Other issue related to a lot of attack that we see the last days is denial of service. If we make denial of service to your service, then you feel that you're out of the world, you cannot connect to anyone, you cannot go to the website by itself is denied by other one. In Israel, we develop new technology, they bypass it, and we can continue working with the service without any problem.
On the personal level, you mentioned the Internet of Things, which is people get fascinated about it because in the future, with your smartphone, you can even control your devices at home, right?
Good, yeah.
But what is the threat of it in terms of cybersecurity? If you have your phone connected to your devices, and then with that connection, then what is the risk out there?
I think the risk, you can split the risk. The risk is your information can be hacked and can be compromised by others.
Really?
And by the way,
how?
They just can take the information to the wireless or to the other cellular, recording your information outside of your phone and manipulate it. They can know exactly to whom you're talking to. They know exactly the phone call that you made, all the WhatsApp and the data that you sent. So if you have password on the phone, they can hack the password and pretend that they are you and continue with that. Even more than that, in one of the university in the state, they show that they can go and make the printer, if they put it out, burn, the printer burn.
Wow.
Because they try to manipulate the head of the printer, go back and forth very, very rapidly until it start fire and break it. That is not science fiction, it's happened.
And they can do that wirelessly.
And they can do it wirelessly, yeah.
But I mean,
because if the printer connected to the network in the organization, and the organization having access to the internet, and they can access to the network and then go to the printer, they can burn the printer.
But I mean, should that be the responsibility of your internet service provider because they have you connected? I mean,
how the internet service provider can know that somebody attack you? It's not in the level of give you the service. It's the giving of the application, of the level of application that you talk. It's like if you ask me if the service provider responsibility for the transaction that I made with my bank is not. It's the responsibility of the bank, I think, not the responsibility of the ISP. Because the bank need to be sure that I'm the one that make the transaction. The ISP cannot do it. It's on the lower level. The ISP just give me the bandwidth and the services to make the transaction, but it cannot be interfere the transaction itself.
So if we want to improve the cybersecurity, where do we begin with?
What do we begin? Just make it more secure. For example, if you talk about the mobile phone, in Israel, there's a company build a private phone. What do you mean by private phone? That is secured phone.
Okay.
They take the building blocks, all the chips, the modem, the cellular chips, everything, keyboard, putting together in a mobile phone. On top of it, put the Android system, Android operating system. It's a harness operating system, not the usual one. On top of that, they put all the transaction. Everything is encrypted, everything is secured. And when you're working with another same phone, all the transaction between the two, all the information, the voice over IP, the data, the transfer between these two phones are encrypted. So you can be very sure that nobody can hack your data.
But how costly is that to apply those solutions?
I think more than $1. Yeah, it's very costly, yeah. Because it depends, you can go, really, you can go, if you make, let's for example, the traffic light.
Okay.
If you can mess the traffic light, what the coincidence with this? Nobody can go in the city. And it's, I'm not saying it's very easy, but it's a risk. You need to manage the risk. You can see if your system are vulnerable or not. If it's vulnerable, you need to take some precaution and some means in order to protect the systems.
So it's not too expensive if you want to improve?
It's depend. It depends on the risk that you have. I think from the personal life of the citizen is not so much. If you talk about the government level, the country level, it's big issue because you can hack and compromise the supply chain. Like if you want to supply food all over the country, there's some company doing that. You can change all the orders inside the system. And if you do it, you can try to manipulate. You don't know where you're finished.
Vừa rồi là những chia sẻ của ông Avi Shavit, là trưởng bộ phận nghiên cứu an ninh nội địa và an ninh mạng đến từ Bộ Kinh tế Israel liên quan đến chủ đề an ninh mạng trong thời kỷ nguyên Internet và kỹ thuật số. Quý vị có thể xem lại chương trình trên website fpnc.vn hoặc là facebook.com/tôi về Việt Nam. Chúng tôi sẽ còn quay trở lại sau ít phút nữa.